kind of went into returning to IU for this year?
I feel like I still had a lot left in me, and I didn't feel like I produced the amount that I could have last year, as well as like being like fresh for each game and just like being in a good place with my body to perform at the level I know I'm capable of. So, yeah.
When Signetti kind of came in, what was he saying to you? And I guess was the portal ever like a real option for you?
Um, I felt like I like it here, and I feel like I had a good place like with the team and everything. Talking with Signetti, he thought, given like my body and like my length and size, like I'd be better at like boundary end or what we call stud. And the linebackers now are a lot smaller than me, and they are probably a little bit quicker. But yeah, just like my body type is probably better for stud.
So, Mason, yeah, I was going to ask you about the position thing. Just, I guess what was that conversation like with Coach, kind of when he brought that up to you, and I mean, what's gone into you kind of adapting to this new role?
Yeah, so talking with him, like I said, he just thought like my body type would be better for that position. And originally, that's what I was going to come here to play last year, but I think we were super low at inside backer. And since I had experience there, I think Coach Wilt and Coach Guerreri thought, I could benefit there. What was the second part of your question?
And just what's gone into, you said you bulked up a little bit to fit that position a little better. Just what's gone into you adapting to the newer role?
Yeah, so everything happens a lot faster. Whereas like at backer, you have a cool maybe 5-6 seconds or not 5-6 because the play is not that long, but you have a little bit more time to process the play. Whereas D-line, everything's happening right in front of you in a split second. And like you said, yeah, I had put on probably about 15 pounds, about 255. But just like getting used to that contact and the techniques.
When you say everything's happens a little faster, like is it still kind of taking you a little bit to really adjust to that and get used to that out on the field?
I feel like as far as my job, like I can tell you my job, but as far as being savvy with the position, like some an unspoken skill set or just like experience, is definitely like taking a little bit more time, but it's clicking like each practice.
I guess I'm curious, with this being your second year here, but this also being your second new coaching staff that you're dealing with, does it kind of feel like you're still trying to reacclimate yourself here in Bloomington, or do you feel a little bit more comfortable in the second time around?
I definitely feel comfortable in Bloomington. And I feel like the coaching staff did a really good job. The new coaching staff did a really good job of making us feel like welcome and telling us what they're about. But like Coach Buddha, he's a great guy, and I feel like he's done a great job of making the room feel welcome and like a collaborative effort instead of like I'm the coach and I'm talking to you and like that's it. So he's done a really good job, I think.
What do you feel has been maybe the biggest challenge or adjustment that you've had to make to this coaching staff versus the last?
I feel like this coaching staff is doing a really good job of like holding us accountable and not letting things slide. Like, oh, like, we messed something up, next play. It's like, nah, we're going to redo that until we get it right. We're going to do it until we get it right. You're going to give 100% of effort or we're going to do it again. So, yeah.
Jack and Zach?
Yeah, I guess with this new position, did you ever do anything similar to that when you were at Stanford, or is it pretty much brand new for you?
No, it's pretty much brand new, honestly. I feel like I had a little bit more experience with it here last year, in some of our like blitz packages and like goal line packages, but no, it's pretty new, yeah.
And I guess just how are the responsibilities then explained to you just in that position? Just what's kind of your role in the defense there?
Coach Buddha says we got to run with rabbits, and I forget the other analogy, but it's basically like you have to be able to hit as hard as like linemen, but run with running backs, or maybe a receiver on a wheel route, or so we have to do both. We have to be able to do both, but just being violent and in everything we do.
Have you done anything like this even like back in high school?
Nah. If anything, I was on the back end, like safety, a little bit of running back, but no, nothing D-line really.
Zach and Pete?
What are the kind of different challenges that go into playing on the line rather than playing in linebacker physically and mentally?
I feel like mentally, your keys tell you everything, like very fast. Physically, I feel like, physically, I feel like your leverage and your hand placement is huge, and it's a lot. As much as we like to categorize like offensive line and defensive line as like, hard nosed guys, which they are, which we are, but it's a lot more technical than people think. So I feel like that's one of the biggest adjustments I've been trying to come to terms with. Yeah.
Pete and Joe?
Hey, Jacob, what excites you about this defense and this coaching staff?
This defense excites me because we have a lot of simulated blitz packages, and we're able to do like a lot of disguises, and it's a really creative defense. I feel like, specifically at my position, like being in a 2-point, a 3-point, and just having the freedom to just like kind of change it up. But what was the second part about the team?
What excites you about
The coaching staff? Man, I just feel like they know how to work. We're definitely getting like quality over quantity. We may not be in for like 8 reps at a time, but while we're out there, like we're working really. Whereas like, I don't know, some plays last year I felt like, or some practices last year, and it was definitely on like the players. We didn't hold ourselves to a high enough standard last year, and I feel like now the coaching staff is kind of holding us to that standard, and eventually we'll acclimate and we'll be able to hold ourselves to that standard ourselves. But right now we're still kind of in that forming stage.
Joe, we'll finish with Dane. How has the team started to gel with so many new faces on both the coaching staff and players coming in from the portal?
I feel like as we're working, like the offense is getting closer together, the defense is getting closer together, and as guys mess up, which we all are going to do, just pulling each other along and encouraging each other to do better, to be better at our assignments. And right now it's more about effort than anything because the defense is so new to everybody, or just the scheme is new to everybody. So right now I feel like the biggest thing is effort.
Dane wraps up.
Yeah, I want to say last year a few times you kind of mentioned how you'd watch highlights throughout the week and how that kind of helped you learn a little bit. With the new position change, who have you kind of been watching trying to improve there?
So obviously like Von Miller, because I feel like pass rush is like one of the biggest like technical things that you can do on the field, honestly. So, I mean, I've pass rushed before, but from linebacker, and it's been more like interior and on running backs. So, I don't know, just watching some of the best pass rushers in the league right now and just their hand movements and their patterns and stuff.
What do you feel like you've kind of learned so far in that?
Just trust your speed. Trusting your speed, beating that offensive tackle to a spot, and then once you get there, really being active with your hands and then straining to finish. So, yeah.
We'll take one more from Jack.
Yeah, you said you bulked up. Do you know how much weight you've gained since the position change? Do you have like a target weight that you want to be at?
I think last year I was like 235 to 238. Now I'm like 255 about. So, yeah, about 250, 255 in that range. And I'll probably stay here, but just like being like more lean at this weight and being able to run and being conditioned at this weight.